In the world of hunting, two weapons stand as symbols of tradition and innovation: the hunting bow and the crossbow. Both have been used for centuries, each with its own unique set of advantages, challenges, and followers. The hunting bow, with its sleek design and reliance on the hunter's skill and strength, speaks to a deep connection with nature and the art of the shot. In contrast, the crossbow, with its mechanical precision and ease of use, offers a more accessible approach for those who seek power and accuracy in a more compact form. But what happens when these two ancient tools face off in the wild, whether you're a seasoned archer or a newcomer to the sport? In this episode, we are about to explore between a bow and a crossbow often comes down to personal preference, skill level, and the specific demands of the hunt. Welcome to the History of Simple Things, where we delve into the fascinating history behind the little things that shape our world. The bow and arrow is one of the oldest weapons in human history, dating back at least 10,000 years, although some evidence suggests even earlier use. The earliest examples of bows come from the Mesolithic period, 10,000 BCE, and are believed to have been used by hunter-gatherer societies. These early bows were simple devices made from wood, bone, and sinew, and they were likely used for hunting small and large game as well as in warfare. The bow's primary function was to allow humans to hunt at a distance, increasing their safety and effectiveness when hunting animals. Over time, bows evolved in both size and construction. By the time of the ancient civilizations like the Egyptians and Sumerians, bows had become more refined, with better materials like yew wood, and their use expanded to military purposes. The composite bow, made from a combination of wood, horn, and sinew, was introduced by the Scythians, and later popularized by the Mongols and Persians. As archery became a key part of military strategy, particularly in medieval Europe, bows were increasingly used in wars and sieges. Longbows, often made from the yew tree, became the weapon of choice for English archers during the 100 Years' War. Famously exemplified by the Battle of Agincourt, 1415, where English longbowmen decisively defeated the French. The design of the hunting bow used for recreational purposes, particularly in modern-day archery, has remained largely unchanged for centuries. Bows are typically long bows, recurve bows, or compound bows, each differing in shape, structure, and the mechanical advantage they offer to the archer. Mechanics of the hunting bow. A hunting bow is typically made from wood, fiberglass, or composite materials. The bow consists of a limb, the two ends of the bow, connected by a string, which is drawn back to store energy. The archer manually draws the bowstring back, which bends the limbs and stores potential energy. When the string is released, the energy propels the arrow forward. A hunting bow requires significant skill to use effectively, including hand-eye coordination, strength, and technique. The archer must draw the string and hold it steady before releasing the arrow, and precision is essential for hitting distant targets accurately. The origins of the crossbow. The crossbow emerged several centuries after the bow, with its invention generally attributed to ancient China around 500 BCE. Unlike the bow, the crossbow features a horizontal bow mounted on a stock, similar to a rifle, with a trigger mechanism for release. The main innovation of the crossbow was that it made archery easier to use for people without significant physical strength or years of training. Crossbows gained widespread adoption in China during the Warring States period, 475–221 BCE, where they were used in warfare and sieges. The Chinese crossbow was relatively simple in design, featuring a mechanical string-lock system that allowed soldiers to set the string into position without having to draw it manually, making it easier to use for soldiers who were not trained archers. By the time the Roman Empire came to power, the crossbow had spread westward, and the Roman Empire used crossbows for siege warfare. The use of the crossbow reached its peak during the Middle Ages in Europe, where it became a key weapon on the battlefield. Crossbows were easier to operate than longbows, making them accessible to soldiers without specialized training, and they were capable of delivering powerful, penetrative shots. The church later intervened to regulate the use of crossbows, as they were seen as especially deadly in battle. In 1139, the Second Lateran Council decreed that it was sinful to use the crossbow against Christians, reflecting the weapon's fearsome reputation. Mechanics of the crossbow. The crossbow consists of a horizontal bow mounted on a stock or frame. The bow is typically made from steel or composite materials, and it is pulled back using a mechanical or manual cocking device. Unlike the bow, which requires the archer to draw the string back by hand, a crossbow uses a trigger mechanism to release the bolt once it has been drawn. The shooter does not need to hold the string in a drawn position, which reduces the strength and training required. The crossbow has a trigger and can be aimed much like a rifle, which makes it easier for less experienced individuals to use effectively. The weapon also has a much shorter learning curve compared to the traditional bow. Differences between the hunting bow and the crossbow. Mechanics and operation. The most obvious difference between the hunting bow and the crossbow is the mechanical design. A traditional bow requires the user to draw the string back with physical strength and to hold it in tension before releasing. This demands a certain level of skill, physical stamina, and training, especially for accurate shooting. In contrast, the crossbow allows a user to cock the string, load the bolt, and then shoot with much less physical exertion. The crossbow's trigger mechanism allows the user to fire with a simple pull of the trigger, making it easier to operate and use accurately, even for those without extensive training. Power and draw weight. In terms of draw weight, the amount of force needed to pull the string back, crossbows generally have much higher draw weights compared to bows. Crossbows can range from 150 pounds to over 500 pounds of draw weight, allowing them to shoot powerful bolts with significant force. In contrast, traditional hunting bows typically have a draw weight between 30 and 70 pounds, though compound bows can exceed 100 pounds in draw weight. This difference in power gives the crossbow a longer range and greater penetrating power. As we wrap up our exploration of hunting bows and crossbows, it's clear that both have unique advantages, catering to different styles of hunting and preferences. Whether you choose the traditional, instinctive feel of a hunting bow or the precision and ease of use that a crossbow offers, both tools bring an exciting challenge and an opportunity to connect with nature in a profound way. The decision ultimately comes down to your experience level, hunting environment, and personal preference. But one thing remains true: both a hunting bow and a crossbow can provide memorable and rewarding experiences in the field. Whatever you choose, remember that the most important part is enjoying the hunt, respecting wildlife, and honing your skills with each shot. Happy hunting! If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.